It is okay to be in your vulnerability and also at the same time be in your power, right? We would all thrive in these type of environments. But mostly what is expected is for us to stuff these emotions down, to put on masks and kind of try to show up and pretend like things are not challenging in our lives. Truth-telling Thursdays. And today I want to talk about the truth about vulnerability. One of my all-time favorite topics. Vulnerability is a superpower. Yes. And allowing ourselves to be in our vulnerability is the greatest strength you'll ever have, right? Think about it. If something is brittle and hard, it can break easily. But when something is soft and flexible, it's unbreakable. So I discovered along my journey, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mahima. I'm the founder of the Mahima Mindset, and our company helps people to feel empowered mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of people and helping them to really understand how to be grounded in the power of the now, how to feel their superpowers, and how to just show up to life and to living. So when we think about vulnerability, we think about exposing our weaknesses. But the truth is that vulnerability is so much more about exposing your strength. Imagine a world where we allowed people to talk about their failures more, talk about what they don't get or understand, instead of having to put on masks and pretend like we know everything, we understand everything, we're all so strong. And we're living in a world where we are mostly asked to pretend to be something that we're not. And when you start working with vulnerability, you also automatically start working with more authenticity. Vulnerability is about the ability to feel your emotions instead of stuffing them down somewhere or escaping from them, or pretending that you feel something that you don't, or feeling guilty about feeling the emotions that you feel. I want to encourage more people to be in the conversation of how can we show up as leaders, as change makers, but still be able to show our heart, show our humanity, and share about our struggles, what we find challenging, what we are dealing with in our personal and emotional lives, without it feeling like it's unprofessional. Now, I understand, right, that there's a certain time and a place for everything, so that's undeniable. But that being said, I want you to imagine a workspace, right? Because I want to talk to professional women in specific, or men for that matter, right? A workspace where it was created a safe place for people to be able to be real and authentic. That means that whatever you're going through, doesn't need to be hidden. So I'll give an example. If you're going through a difficult moment because you're separating from a long-term relationship, right? And at the same time, you need to show up at work, and you need to be able to perform, and you need to be able to focus on your work, and you need to be able to be powerful over there. Imagine if we could create a space where it was okay for you to tell your story. Listen, right now, over the next months, I'm going through a massive transformation in my life. I've been in a 23-year relationship, and my husband and I are separating. We want to do a conscious uncoupling, but it's very challenging and it's very difficult. And so during this time, please hold a kindness for me if I'm not always as bubbly, or if I'm not always as, if you feel something strange coming from me, because I am going through this massive transformation, of course, it should not interfere with my ability to perform what I need to do here. But I think in that safe space, if that was given the opportunity for introducing this type of more feminine leadership, where it is okay to be in your vulnerability and also at the same time be in your power, right? We would all thrive in these type of environments. But mostly what is expected is for us to stuff these emotions down, to put on masks and kind of try to show up and pretend like things are not challenging in our lives. So I want to encourage the conversation of how we can bring more vulnerability to the workplace. Yes? And it starts with the willingness to to own your story, right? To own what is happening in your world without trying to pretend. Now, one thing that I know about reality is that there's always different levels of reality. So, for example, you can be going through this incredibly challenging situation, but inside of that reality, there's also the fact that you're living in one of the most wealthiest countries in the world. That can be your reality at the same time. You're living with a limitless amount of abundance because you have access to hospitals, you have access to medicine, you have access to food, to clean water, to a safe space to live. So inside of that challenge, there's also a lot of beauty, a lot of abundance. And when we are able to be vulnerable, we can take all of what life has to offer inside of one single moment. It's not just fragmented into that is my suffering and there's nothing else going on. So we can be in that vulnerability of the challenge that we're experiencing, but we can also be in the celebration of life, of the beauty of the moment, of understanding simple principles about our inner soul essence. For example, what I love teaching my students and having them experience it. You came into this world with nothing. You're going to leave with nothing. So if you can allow yourself to be vulnerable and stay present in the moment, inside of your own heart, there is a place where you feel safe, where everything is unfolding perfectly as it needs to, even in the storm. There is an inner peace, a love and a joy that's not dependent on external circumstances, events, or people. This is our birthright to experience this. And yes, I repeat this in almost every video you will see me talking, because it is so essential that we start to return back home into our essence, right? Into this place of self-understanding that allows us to experience more juiciness, more openness, less fear, less confusion. The example of separating from a long-term relationship, right, is a perfect example of maybe you might be focusing on what you're losing, but what if you could also focus on what you're gaining, right? And if that relationship has been toxic, has been for like maybe even abusive in some way, form or shape, letting go of that and being in your vulnerability, you're allowing yourself to open up to a new possibilities, right? Where there's more peace, there's more joy, there's more ecstasy, bliss, and positive feelings inside of your life. So it could be the situation that you've lost your job, right? And the ego mind just wants to focus on the negative aspect of that. But in that vulnerability, we're able to focus on also the positive aspects of a new beginning, new opportunities, yes, a new way of create. You could create a whole new world for yourself, leaving the old behind and learning from it and being able to move forward into a new era of your life. So vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a superpower. Please share this message with as many people as you can. Share this video. I know that there is somebody out there that you know that needs this message today. We need to stop being more vulnerable, and we need to be comfortable in our vulnerability. Share your story. Be real. There is always success, beauty, power inside of your story. And maybe at some moments there's also a storm, a tragedy, or a challenge happening in your life. And if we can feel more comfortable with being fully in our authentic self and saying, yes, right now I'm dealing with this particular challenge, but inside of this challenge, I'm also finding my strength. I'm finding new levels of resilience. I'm learning so much about living, about life, because let me tell you something. Inside of every challenge, there are life lessons that are transformative, that allow you to move forward with so much more power. Yes, so much more clarity. It might take a moment to experience that when you're going through the challenge, you're going through the storm. But when you're on the other side, as my beautiful coach Lisa loves to say, you build your bounce back muscle, right? The ability to understand what really matters in life. And what matters is who you are, not what you have. What really matters is what you're experiencing in this moment, and not what happened in the past or what might happen in the future. In your vulnerability, you're able to own all of what's happening inside of you. And you don't only need to focus on the negativity. Vulnerability, softness, gentleness also allows you to find the gold, find the beauty, find the light inside of the storm, the challenge, the tragedy. So please keep on building that vulnerability muscle by being authentic, by being truthful. Just tell the truth. Yes. And I think more leaders, more people in influential positions, and you are influential because even just in your family ecosystem, imagine if you would adopt more truth-telling, right? Being more connected to your heart, vulnerable with your kids, with your husband, yeah, being willing to show what's really happening with you and allowing them to see that it's okay to not always feel perfect or amazing. That even inside of a challenging time, even inside of vulnerability, there is strength and beauty. Let's start educating as many people as we can on this topic. Share this video, leave your comments. What has left you feeling super duper vulnerable? What do you do when that happens? Do you tend to hide away? Do you tend to want to put on a smile? Do you tend to want to stuff it away or distract yourself? Yes? And are you willing to allow this message today to let you start to open up and share your vulnerability with people? Let me tell you something. When big challenges are happening in my life, I become very soft, very gentle, and very kind with myself. And in that pouring and holding the space for Mahima to be able to face these challenges with grace and ease, I find I can dig into a strength, a wisdom and a clarity again and again and again. Yes? So let's see. I want to end this with a little bit of reflection. Let's go to the breath. Yes? Breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Just keep breathing with me. Breathe in softness, power, expansion. Breathe out, let go, release. Breathe in, softness, expansion. Let go, release. You can let your walls down. Yes. Because those walls are keeping out the light as well. When you connect with your soul, you find strength. When you connect with your vulnerability, you find beauty. Allow opening. Yes, beautiful. Keep breathing. Breathe in. Exhale. Let go. Breathe in. Let go. Exhale. Take your left hand to your chest, right hand to your lower belly. Close your eyes. Gentleness, softness, kindness, power, wisdom, lightness, softness, lightness, wisdom. Keep on leaning in, expansion, opening, bringing the walls down, softening, letting go. We only have this moment. And in this moment, you have the power to lean into positivity or lean into negativity. And I always say, peace is one breath away. And why would you want to do that? Because you came into this world with nothing, and you're going to leave with nothing. And your only duty while you're in this body is to learn how to live. Live the moment. Live with power, grace, and love. Yes, and it's in your hands. Keep sharing this message. Be vulnerable, be amazing, and I can't wait to share more with you about the topic of truth-telling. Mwah! Have an amazing time, guys, and see you soon on the other side. Bye. Be gentle with